name is Beston. I live in Cape Town. Also, I do delivery. Interbet helped me to realize my dreams. Now I have my own delivery vehicle and I'm able to do the removal in and around Cape Town.
Welcome back to the shortlist part of our show, where Deez and myself will guide you through our shortlist selections for racing at Hollywood Bets Gravel on the Poly Track the 14th of March, where the bipod kicks off in race number 1 at 12:30. Starting with my shortlist, and I have 3 suggested PA bankers for you and 3 horses to watch out for. I haven't managed to find a pick 6 banker, as I think the card is extremely difficult. But starting with my place accumulator bankers, the first of those comes up in race number 2 on the card, where I've gone for horse number 3 in Kalanzinzi. Over 1400 meters, this is where she's home, and I think she should take a power of beating in the opening leg of the place accumulator, and if she somehow happens to find one to beat her once again on the day, she will run into that top 3 positions. Moving on to race number 3 on the card, I've gone with horse number 7, Clean Slate, the lesser fancied of the Garth-Puller runners, of Garth-Puller's 2 runners in this lineup. Clean Slate, he has his 3rd run in the province, 3rd run after rest. He's improved position-wise from 1st to 2nd run in the province, and I think on the Poly Track, if he does take to the surface, he'll go extremely close to winning in this race. He does have some really nice Cape form lines as well, so Clean Slate, a horse that I think is going to run a cracker in race number 3 on the card, which is the first leg of the pick 6. Then moving on to race number 6, and I've gone with horse number 2, Flashy Katrina. I've kept a close eye on this 5-year-old daughter of Al McDarm. I've gone for her in her last 4 starts, and I'm hoping that it could be 5th time lucky following her. 2.5 kgs off the back. She's on a mark of 72, so she has come down quite a bit in the ratings, and she took on a lot stronger last time out, and it was in open company. Kaden Brewer, he rode her last time out and he ran a cracking second to Goliath Heron. And I think Flashy Katrina, she could possibly be the horse that they all have to beat in race number 6 on the card. Then my horses to watch out for. The first of those 3 horses comes up in race number 4 on the card. I've gone with horse number 3, Papa C. He goes to the post with a postage stamp, 49.5, drawn in gate 3. I think the 1900 meter trip is going to suit him perfectly. He's a horse that tries the Poly Track for the very first time, but I think he will take to the surface, and with such a light weight in an open race, I think that Papa C could be a horse to keep a close eye on for the future. Then moving on to race number 5, and I've gone with number 3, Mallorca Palace. Sean Veal rides for Carl Hewitson. Mallorca Palace, I think the race could possibly be run to suit. Obviously needs a bit of luck in running as well, but Mallorca Palace will be doing his best work late on in the day, and possibly at around 11-2 in the market, Mallorca Palace could be worth an each way play. Then moving on to the last of my horses to watch out for, Carl Hewitson and Sean Veal team up once again. Horse number 4, Give Me a Rainbow. He hasn't won over the distance from his 6 starts, but he has won on the surface. 13 tries for 2 wins, 3 seconds, 2 thirds and 3 fourths. Sean Veal knows him well. He's won aboard this 4-year-old son of Give Me the Green Light. Once again, I think the race could be run to suit. The pace will be on, and Give Me a Rainbow will be doing his best work at the finish. And 10-1, I think that's some tremendous value about horse number 4, Give Me a Rainbow. As I did touch on, I haven't managed to find any suggested pick 6 bankers for you, but I think that Deez may have a nice pick 6 banker up his sleeve for you. Deez, take it away with your shortlist.
Yeah, thanks, Rael, and plenty of horses to follow. Place accumulator bankers as well, and let's have a look at my slide, which will begin in race number 1, and race number 1 will be the start of the exotics. It's a part time, and the horse that I'm going for on exposed form is this horse called Indaka. So we'll start off with what's a bet that I'm going to start off the day, and it's going to be the bipod, so that will be on line number 2, and it's going to be Indaka as a bipod banker. When you have a look at his recent form, he's threatening to win. He's had 3 seconds on the bounce. In fact, he's had 4 seconds and 3/4 in his career. He doesn't inspire much confidence on his 2 runs on the poly track, but I'm suggesting that was a bit earlier on in his career, and now that he's found his form, he could be ready to win. With all due respect to the balance of the runners, if he doesn't finish in the top 2, I think it'll be the huge disappointment for his followers here. Race 1, horse number 3 in Dhaka. That's the place bipod banker. Then on to the suggested place accumulator bankers. I'm in agreement with Rahil with horse number 3, that's Inkalan Zinzi in race number 2. And when you look at the riding engagement, I think that is a standout because Anton Marcos sticks with the ride. He partnered him his last 2 runs, and he's of the opinion when chatting to him after his last start that 1400 meters suits his horse best. His form lines are bright as well. His penultimate starts, Blue Sails, as now a 3-time winner. And this horse called Snow Tune coming out to win as well. And from his last start, second in that race was Lady Macbeth, who's got back-to-back. So on his form lines, on the distance and the good draw in a small field, I think he is one of the better bets on the card. And whilst he's a place accumulator banker, I also think he's a bipod banker as well, and he could be one to follow in your all-to-comes. Race number 2, horse number 3 in Kalan Zinzi. Then another place accumulator banker, and we're going with Thunder Masala. Well, we are on the different end of the horses from the Guard Puller stable when it comes to Ryle and myself with regards to our selections here in race number 3. He's on Clean Slate, the stable companion, and I'm on Thunder Masala. You include both horses, they finish in the top 3. You can double up. Thunder Masala, blinkers on last time out, good run behind Mighty Mashona. On his penultimate start, if you pull out that form line behind Cyber Time, you'll see that a certain Napoleon finished a length behind him, and Napoleon was beaten 3 lengths by Clean Slate on that last start. So on a collateral form line through Napoleon, I think Thunder Masala should have the stable companion beat, but Clean Slate was only having his 2nd run in the province, and there could be further improvement to come. I just want to touch on that last start behind Napoleon from Clean Slate as well. Head Honcho and Runaway Song came out to dead heat from that form line, and that was a tremendous race to watch. So it's not the worst form line behind Napoleon that this horse was beaten 3 lengths. But again, I'll go with Thunder Masala and Ryle on number 7, Clean Snake. That's in race number 3. So on to our pick 6 banker before we go on to our horses to follow. And that comes up in the lucky last, race number 8. If we're standing in the pick 6, well, we all smiles prior to the running of the race. And hopefully it is all smiles after the running of the race, because we're going with the filly that's in open company from the informed stable of Paul Peter and the informed jockey that will be crowned at the end of the season as the champion jockey in South Africa for the 2nd time in his career, and that's Warren Kennedy. This filly had a late start to her career as a nutto, having only debuted as a 4-year-old back in September, but it was a winning debut as well. And since then, she's had 2 very good post-maiden runs over 1,400 and 1,200 meters. And although she is carrying 60.5 kgs on her back against male rivals that are at home, on the surface, stabled in the province, and know the conditions very well, I think this could be a very calculated decision by trainer Paul Peter to run her from draw 1. And the tactics are going to be simple. If you watched her up in Gauteng, all she needs to do is get to the front with a soft lead, and she'll be the filly to beat if taking to the poly track. Race 8, number 1, Zanotto. And then the horses to follow, we move along to race number 6. Both Ryle and myself are in agreement that this filly, Lady Katrina, is overdue now for that 5th career win. She's got Kaden Brewer, who partnered her last time out when she raced in open company, and it was a good 2nd behind Goliath Heron. She races off a net 67 if you factor in the 2.5 kgs off with the apprentice. She's nicely weighted as a 4-time winner against this field, and whilst there is lots of form to work around, she could be the ideal roving banker in the race, and if she arrives, she will be at a decent price as well. And then race number 7, which looks to be a highly competitive race. It's a quality field. It's a B division class, a meritorious 93 handicap over 1,400 meters. And here I've gone with a horse that will be carrying no weight, featherweight, 49.5 kgs on his back. And again, we are in the camp of this apprentice who's traveling around the country and having winners wherever he goes. He's growing in confidence, young Kaden Brewer, and he's got a nice ride here. A horse that will be tested against this type of field, but I think the weight could certainly come into effect. How do I see the race? Well, there'll be horses that be hoping there's a decent pace up front because they like to make their late runs, and others will be hoping that they dictate at their own fractions. Naval Secret, I see sitting midfield, but with this low weight, it wouldn't surprise me if Duncan Alves goes up to Kaden Brewer and tells him, young man, go to the front, make them work for the victory here on number 4, Naval Secret, who will be a horse to follow. Rael, in summarizing, I've gone with a pick 6 banker in the lucky last, which is Zanetto from the Paul Peters stable. But you've given some nice horses to follow, place accumulator bankers as well, and hopefully everything goes according to plan in a highly competitive race card.
Absolutely, Deez, and hopefully for the followers of yours and hopefully for yourself as well, when you come into our last race, the network is able to do the job for you in that pick 6, because I think that pick 6 is going to pay a very healthy dividend.
You're getting me excited, Rael, because now that you're giving me a bit more confidence with Zanetto, the filly in the last, well, we'll try and take a percentage of the sperm because it looks tough, but we're going to go with that banker in the last. It's been an absolute pleasure working alongside Rael Radhakrishnan for myself, Deez Danan, and the Gold Circle TV preview show team. Until next time, you take care. Salani Gashle.
It's good fun. Days like these are great. You get the whole industry together, and to have, companies and corporations like Interbet and Cape Racing who are so generous with sort of time and energy into making a day like this possible is it's fantastic for everyone.